dark. So in between, yeah. For the more blue jean look is either Blue Jay or denim. Those are my two go-tos. But they also have another paper that I use. I want to say that it's Basil. Let me pull out all my cardstock. I'm trying to help you guys. Hey, it's right on the top. Here's another one that I use that I will share. And I love it because you can actually, it's sandable. This one is sandable antique. You just take a nail file. And it doesn't help that I'm using my AirPods, which are right above my chair, so I'm so sorry having to get up. Anyways, it's sandable, so you can actually lighten it just by sanding it if you want to give it that lighter look to it, and you just keep sanding and it'll go really, really light. It does not ruin the paper. The paper is very, very thick. So that is another color I use for my blue jeans. All right, and Horace is gonna need eyebrows as well. I will do those later. And how I do my eyebrows, I will let you guys know right now. I use a pencil, any kind of pencil, and then I go over it with my Micron 005 and only use a white tipped eraser when you erase your pencil mark. My Micron pen, that's a 02. That's what I use to go around my eyes. And here's the 005. And it doesn't matter what kind of pencil you use, just use a light hand when you do it. So that way it doesn't end up leaving pencil marks. I may have to redo this coat part. I don't know if that's my paper or my glue. Either way, I'll figure it out once I'm done. All right. So I did his hot dog and I went a little bit extra. I did cut it out on yellow paper, basil yellow, but then I took my Nuvo drops and that's what I did the mustard with. The wind started today, guys, so that's part of why I don't like recording, is I don't want to be coughing in everybody's ear. I hate it when people do it to me, and now I'm doing it to you guys. So this is Sandable Cardinal is the color. That's the color I use for my hot dog. And for my buns is going to be Frappuccino, which is American Crafts Coordinations. I don't know if those two are available any longer. I feel really bad for being a paper hoarder, but then I don't, because some colors nobody has access to anymore. And I like being able to have stuff that's original. So let's put Horace together. I am going to put his pants on first. I did not snip his pants. That's how I knew that I was going to cut the jacket apart. I used the pom-pom. And there are little grooves and divots on the pants so you know where to put them, which does help a lot. Today has not been a good day with my hands. Let's make sure I'm still in frame. Yes. I've actually been in bed most of the day today. Just the weather has my hands not liking life. So I have a bed that sits up. It elevates by remote. Hubby bought it for me last year, and I love it. So not all day. I haven't been in bed all day. That's a lie. I just took my time getting up today. I did not want to get out of bed. So I stayed in there as long as I could. And probably about noonish, the dogs were like, "No, Mom, you're getting up." I was like, fine. So it looks like this is a little too long. I don't want to cut the base. I just want to snip that off. All right. Now we will put on the soles of his feet, his shoes. Those go down before the shoes. I showed you guys the blue. I forgot to tell you the ink. Catherine Pooler, I go, depending on how dark of a blue I'm using. Blue Jay, I use the paper color Blue Jay, I use Dress Blues by Catherine Pooler. And for denim, I use Juniper Mist. Juniper Mist, Juniper Mist. I've heard it both ways. One's for light and one's for darker. And that's just me. You guys can play around with colors. And some colors I mix. Catherine Pooler, she has ink bottle refills. And I've actually bought blank ink pads. Nothing on them. They're completely white when I buy them. And I made this color because I needed something that was darker than the red but lighter. Darker than the rouge but lighter than the Merlot. And these are some of my refill bottles. And these are all Catherine Pooler. I think they're like $5 a bottle, I want to say. Yeah, my husband wasn't too happy when he saw that bill, that credit card charge. But then he's like, buy whatever you need. So he gets over it. I gotta love him. He's good most days. I think his grumpy days are when he's tired, but that's the days that I'm like, okay, well, you were grumpy yesterday. You didn't say anything. Can I buy something? He'll be like, yeah, whatever you want or whatever you need. But his thing he got into, do you want it or do you need it? Are you going to use it or is it to collect it? And the reason I did not go around these edges with the pen, with the ink markers or the ink, is because he's going to have a coat on. But I don't know if you guys can see. I don't like seeing that when the arms are behind it. And when something dark is behind, then you can really see it. Now let's put his shoes on, get those out of the way. His coat goes on before his head. I picked up his head and I was ready to put the coat on. And now I'll show you guys when I put his hat on what I meant from the other one. From Jasper, where I hadn't thought about not putting his hair on by putting his hat on and then his hair, and I did it backwards so I couldn't see my white chalk mark. And on the black, I just used the same white chalk pencil that I use on the eyes. But the reason I do my eyes off camera is because I do a couple extra things to them. And it's not the easiest technique to learn, let alone to teach, and I wouldn't even know how to explain it. And they are very time consuming, very tedious, and if I mess up, I throw it away, and that just delays everything for recording. So his coat is gonna go a little shorter than his shirt. I don't want it making it look like Big Ed with the neck though. Okay, I think that's good. I want to cover up the peach that I can see underneath. And as my friend taught me many, many years ago, dab that excess off with your finger. Especially with letters. Nope, I need to go further in. And I want to dab off just on the inside because I don't want it bleeding over onto his shirt. And I didn't do it enough, see? All right, let's make sure I got those corners covered. Well, I hope everybody had a good Easter. Mine was very quiet. Hubby barbecued for the weekend. That way he said I could take a break from having to be in the kitchen because I do cook a lot. We cheated for dinner tonight though. He wanted Church's chicken. I had to think of what it was called. I'm not real big on fried chicken and I do not make it very often just because it's so high in cholesterol. And the doctor, he tried putting me on Lipitor. And it's not high from fried chicken. It's from everything else I eat. A lot of my snacks have cholesterol in them. And I've been getting better because I do not. That Lipitor, oh my, that gave me some massive cramps in my muscles. Not for I. All right, let's get his ears even on the base before I push down. I use art glitter glue. His sleeves are a little easier, and I just noticed I can see some of the face on that side. I didn't get all the way over. This is how I clean it up if I can see any of it. And this is just me. I don't like seeing my base. Sometimes I wish the bases were a little bit smaller than the piecings, because I notice no matter how spot on I am sometimes, I can still see the base. And I'm just talking about like the peach even. Okay, that was an easy fix. It wasn't much, just a little, but a little enough for me to see it. So the shoulder here that has like the flat part, I'm gonna put that on the inside. It's up to you guys what side you want to put it on. It's up to you. That's just the side I'm choosing to go on. I know his sleeve is not that big, but I just want to make sure that I inked enough of it, because I wipe off whatever I don't need. Let's pull it down a little. There we go. That looks good to me. What do you guys think? Yeah. And the same thing with him. I'll put his eyebrows on and all of my... You're fine, girl. That's your shadow in the window. Weirdo. Stop it. Get her, Brianna. She's seeing... She went behind the curtain and saw her shadow. Her reflection, not her shadow. Little weirdos. Just trying to make sure I'm even. Well, I'm gonna have to figure out another way to glue that part down right there, but I don't want to touch everything with glue on my fingers yet. All right, so in this case, I take a piece of scratch paper. Let me find a color that I have that's not... Oh, see, there's a pretty blue in this book too that could be used for jeans. It's always hard because I don't want to ever cut up the wrong one, you know. I love these little books because it's when I don't have the right color. We'll use black. When I don't have the right color, I go to the little books because I have probably 5 small ones and one 8 by 10 out here, not counting what I have in my bedroom. So what I do when I have pieces that don't make a good connection with the base, I cut scrap pieces of paper and I go over them. You could glue it under his coat now that I see what happened. You could go under his coat with the sleeves if you'd like. It's up to you. His hands are getting glued on top, so that's why I didn't glue his hands on first. He's holding a hot dog, of course. At least it's not a puppy though, right? But this is how, when you guys sometimes order pieces from me, this is how come you'll see pieces on the back that look very misplaced. It is because I do not want to ship them, or just over time in my own scrapbooks, have them fall off, the arm be at the bottom of my page protector. So what I did here with the hat that I intended to do on Jasper is I gave myself a marking where the head goes. And I did use the Cosmic Shimmer on the back to hold it in place. And so let's turn it over, and it's gonna go on this side of his head. I am so wrong, it's going on the other side. Why am I so backwards today? Hopefully I can clean that up. If not, I'll just rip his head off and do it again. That didn't work out the way I wanted to at all. Yeah, I'll use my gummy eraser once that dries. I found out leave it alone when it's wet. I've ruined quite a few pieces just because it lifts the paper. So when it's dry, I'll fix it. If not, I'll rip his head off and do it again. It's not a big deal. I've beheaded other pieces. I did a Franklin one time while recording. But I just kind of feel bad that I did that. All right, let's put the hot dog together. So we are going to start by gluing the top part of the bun down first. Let me get that glob of goo off. The top part of the bun on first. That way then we can place the back on. I'm going to put the mustard down onto it. And I think, yeah, I already showed you guys the hot dog color and the bun color. Oh, I went around the bun with Memento peanut brittle. And I went around the hot dog with the color Spiced by Catherine Pooler. I think that's a pretty darn good looking hot dog. Considering I was so confused on the colors and I had my daughter double check them for me because I just wanted to make sure that they were just right. And now I'm going to drag this through the glue on my hand. That way I can get the excess off and not have it everywhere. So, I don't think it matters which way it goes because they both point the same way. Just making sure I don't squish down too hard yet. And there's the hot dog. So cute. Now he's going to hold it. So we're going to glue that down and then put his hands on. Now generally, if I had already paper pieced this, I would have went and got my Zots and put it under the bun, which I'll probably go back and do later, depending on how his hand fits on it. I might put it under his hand as well. I know his hand is sideways, but I'm not doing it sideways because I don't know anybody that holds their hot dog that way. I'm going to do it under. But I would put a Zot under the bun right here. But since I had dry pieced this and I wasn't really prepared to do a video, it was just kind of a last minute split decision. I will go back and do all my editing later to my pieces and cleaning up like the hair on, or the glue on his head. All right. I got his thumb behind his jacket there. And they're all done, guys. Thanks for watching. Sorry, I kind of got a little carried away and messed up the little coat there in his forehead, but I'll clean those up. No worries. Nobody will even know because they'll be gone. And nobody would even notice if I don't say anything because nobody looks at that stuff. I know it's there, and so it bothers me more than anybody else because nobody even realizes it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, and they still don't see it. But thanks for watching. Take care, guys.